With making videos for over 6 years, I've changed them quite a bit, and I've changed myself quite a bit, and I've learned quite a few things along the way. And I thought I'd use this as an opportunity to help you out, let you know some of the things that I've learned, some of the things that I use, and yeah, if you want to make your own videos, perhaps help you out. And for those who might be interested, might be a nice insight to you, and yeah, it's just perhaps maybe it doesn't seem that big of a thing when you're watching a video, but making it and learning a bunch of the stuff, yeah, it's taken quite a while. And although yeah, it's not great, and I do have under 100 subscribers, like people in God's houses and all that, I feel like some of the stuff that I've learned has been very nice, and yeah, it'll probably be very helpful to you. Also, a lot of my equipment is quite old, and also you'll probably want an internet connection that's alright, and a fairly decent PC. You can do the stuff without a computer, but yeah, things like a phone, computer, things that I use, mainly computer, but yeah, just they're what I use, so I can help you with those. Yeah, I won't go in too in depth, and it's more of an outline, so if you want me to talk about a topic more or something that I use, then feel free to let me know, and yeah, I can make a follow-up video on it. So in the comments you can let me know. Before getting onto the tips and stuff like that, I'll first talk about some of the equipment that I use. So first off, starting with the audio. Yeah, I don't know what videos you want to record, but if you want to record your voice, you could use things like a camera microphone on your phone or something like that, or your phone's actual microphone. Yeah, I don't know how this looks. Maybe it'll help with like wind noises in the future, so feel free to let me know. And lapel mics, which are typically attached to your t-shirt or something like that. And more traditional microphones, perhaps like a condensed microphone, which you'd have at home. And yeah, they're just some options, and depending on the situation, probably makes sense to use different kinds of microphone, or if you don't want to use a microphone, then yeah, there's different things to do, which I'll kind of get onto. And also with audio, I think that music in some videos can be quite nice. And I use some music from the YouTube audio library that you can find in the Creator Studio on PC. And yeah, there's a lot more, but I don't know your specific situation, and yeah, hopefully it can at least push you in the right direction. And yeah, a lot of the time, just a camera's audio is fine. And then moving on to cameras and that sort of thing, yeah, a phone camera probably will do the job, or something like an action camera as I'm using now is something that's quite good for just like changing the batteries, doing it quickly. The field of view as well is a lot nicer than my phone in my opinion. And then there's also a screen on the front so I can see myself. Yeah, it's very nice for what I do. Or maybe like a more traditional DSLR, or perhaps more traditional DSLR camera. You've told me a few times. Anyway, yeah, something like that is probably a lot more professional, but it's a bit much for me. A, the costs, yeah, I think they're quite a bit, and B, I think it's just a bit harder to use. It's not as lightweight as this is, and yeah, depends on what you're using. And then you can also use like a webcam if you're using maybe a computer or something like that. And it's not necessarily cameras anymore, I feel like, but more video. Yeah, you could screen record on an iPhone, or probably on an Android as well. And then you can use a capture card, which basically you plug 2 HDMIs in, one out. Or, I mean, there's different displays, but usually HDMI. And then connect it to your PC, perhaps by cable or in the PC itself. And there can be like also an audio cable you can put in. And yeah, also I think it requires iOS 16 on iPhone, but you can get the Blackmagic camera app, which gives you more control, but you're probably alright using what you are for the regular camera app for most intensive purposes. Then it's more of a general one, but OBS on PC essentially allows you to connect a few things like a video source, audio source, and then use things like a green screen with it. You can just like capture the footage, stream, and yeah, essentially just capture footage on PC, which yeah, you can record the screens themselves, external devices if you have some capture card, as I said. And yeah, it's very versatile and something to look into if you're doing that sort of a thing. Then there's some other software. There's Google Docs or Notepad. I like using Notepad on my PC to do stuff for my videos, like not necessarily scripting, I don't do that now, but put notes down. And then Google Docs allows me to put it onto my phone, or if I have an idea, put it on my phone, then it goes to the cloud with Google Drive and then goes onto my computer. So that's quite nice. And is what I'm using now to try and remember what I want to say. Yeah. Then for making thumbnails and perhaps doing stuff with images, I've not really used it too much anyway. But Inkscape, you can put images together, you can gradient them and stuff, you can add text, you can like cut images out and put them together, and yeah, it's really useful for things like thumbnails and picture editing, perhaps. Yeah, that's what I use, and I think it's quite decent, but it takes a bit of getting used to, and there's still a lot more for me to learn, but yeah, something that I find quite useful. And then DaVinci Resolve. It's also on iPad, I think, but a full experience on PC. Quite demanding, which is the main high-end PC thing that you probably want. I mean, I'm not really too versed in how you'd measure how powerful a computer is to be alright. I mean, there are minimum requirements, but confuses me. Anyway, putting the videos together, the audio together, put effects on the video or the audio if you want. Yeah, just all the clips that I get, put them into DaVinci Resolve, then edit it together, and yeah, ends up having the video, put the music in and stuff. Yeah, there's quite a bit. And yeah, with all of these things, it's an outline. So if you want me to go more in depth, I can make an actual video on it. But yeah, I feel like it's just one of those things where if you don't know where to start, it can be really tricky. And I feel like I had that quite a bit. And yeah, it's just taken me a while to learn things. And then yeah, there's some extras, a green screen if you want to change your background for like making a video. It helps you not show your room off and whatnot. Or take you, like, show you as a different place. Can be quite nice. And you can use that with something like OBS in real time, or you can use it with DaVinci Resolve and do stuff later. And then with that, you want to try and have good lighting with that, and just in general, yeah, it's a tricky one. I'm outside, I'm moving about. Yeah, getting the right lighting can be a bit tricky, but yeah, trying to figure it out. It might not seem like a big thing, but yeah, I mean, for a green screen especially, it can look really bad and have noise, yeah, and lighting. Something that is very nice when done right, and might not seem that big, but it really can make a big difference. A tripod can be very useful for keeping something like a camera in place. And yeah, just a bit of a bonus. Basically just having songs and past videos and stuff on like a hard drive or something, and easy accessible, easily organised, or well organised to easily access. Yeah, it just is quite a plus and something that you should try and do. Just keep things as simple as possible and organised, yeah. Moving on to the tips. Yeah, as you can probably imagine, I've learned quite a few things, but with it being 6 years, I thought I'd give 6 tips of things which I think are quite useful. I've, at least partly I feel like, learned by myself, and yeah, I think are just very nice, not talked about, and hopefully will be very helpful. Before moving on to the first tip, I think I'll address the fact that I'm wearing a different t-shirt. Yeah, it's 2 days later, and essentially I went back and I felt like I didn't really do a good job of it. I was a bit rushed and stuff, and yeah, I think that kind of moves on to the first tip, which is basically it's okay to take a while. Yeah, this video, for example, 2 different main days with the 2 different t-shirts, and yeah, sometimes it can just take a while. And for example, where I am right now, right in front of me, is where I filmed my 5-year channel anniversary video, and since then I've learned quite a few things, as you can probably imagine. And yeah, I feel like in general, both for the videos themselves and the overarching video, it's the same word, but I think you might get what I mean. Yeah, per video it might take you a while, and in general just learning different things, as this is kind of about, yeah, it just can take a while. And I just think being kind of prepared for it, and also something that's very nice is having a small audience, perhaps not necessarily very small and for a long time, but it's just quite nice to kind of find out what you like and maybe try different things. For example, with me, scripting, I did that for that video over a year ago, and since then I've kind of moved to more notation rather than full-on scripting and stuff like that. Yeah, I just find a lot more helpful, and being able to learn at your own pace and with a little audience can be quite nice. But also, yeah, eventually, I presume, like most people, you'd probably want to have a bigger audience, and considering that I think it's like the most popular job, content creation for children, yeah, it's quite a desired thing. My second tip is to think backwards. So for example, with things like the title, the thumbnail, the final edit, and where you might have the edits, like for example with my last video, I just talk continuously basically, and then I try to normally add bits in between and have breaks, but that didn't work well. And just learning stuff like that, yeah, I think that just kind of having an idea of what you're going to do and then the title and the thumbnail, for me at least, I do the video first usually, or used to, and then I kind of think of a title and a thumbnail, or maybe a tiny bit before. But yeah, I feel like with the title, the thumbnail, and then also the initial hook of the video, they're kind of your main things to get an audience and potentially keep it, because yeah, if they don't click on your video, even if it's amazing, it doesn't really matter because they don't click on it. Yeah, and the third one is quite quick, but yeah, just planning for the future, and yeah, having a plan for future videos, and maybe having like future videos already made, so you can maybe schedule them and try and have like a somewhat at least consistent schedule can be nice. Yeah, because I think having a bit of a plan of maybe a few videos you might do, and maybe if you're struggling to make a video, have one that you have ready to upload can be quite nice. I mean, yeah, maybe it's a bit much, but just having a bit of an idea of what you might do can be quite nice. Maybe help you lead on to future videos, what you're saying in the video, and yeah, can be very nice. And the fourth thing is just kind of being easier said than done. And yeah, I think there's loads of things where it's like, oh yeah, you could do that, but actually putting it into practice can be very difficult. And yeah, when editing videos back, it might seem like, oh yeah, that was so simple, how do I not do it? But just trying to like have all the different things and apply it can be very difficult. And yeah, I think just trying to get used to it and understanding that it might take you a while and just trying to do it, practice, get used to it, can be very nice. And the fifth thing is what value you're providing. Yeah, I think personally, I used to make quite a few gaming videos and I thought games were quite fun to play, maybe quite fun to watch, but I feel like that was not really the case. And I feel like just trying to keep the audience in mind is the main thing, because the video is for them usually. I mean, yeah, you can make videos for yourself, but if you are trying to grow an audience, it's more for them. So I feel like, yeah, thinking about either the entertainment or the kind of knowledge, information that you might be providing can be quite nice. Maybe if it's like playing a game or maybe like a tutorial, kind of having your own spin on it can be quite nice. And yeah, just kind of thinking of the viewer first can be very nice, as I feel like when you neglect it, it cannot go very well. The sixth and final thing is just to have fun, because I feel like if you're not enjoying it, it can be quite hard to do, and the fact that it may never or may take a long time to get to where you want to be, yeah, just there's people who've been doing it for way longer than you. They're probably a lot better, potentially. Don't know what you're doing, don't know how much experience you have, but yeah, just like having fun, kind of getting to know things and doing what you're doing, and not just solely thinking of trying to get big and stuff can be quite nice. Although yeah, I presume a lot of people do want to get relatively big. Hopefully those tips have helped out a bit, and the tools and stuff. Yeah, I have a few more tips, or I can expand on the tips and stuff if you want me to. And yeah, I think one thing is just nice to learn from yourself failing, because I feel like when you can learn a lot from someone else, it can be very nice. It can propel you way further than you thought you might have. But I feel like kind of just learning yourself what's good for you and what works for you is just way nicer than kind of more a general thing. And like with it being general, yeah, I don't know what videos you make, maybe gaming videos, beauty videos, vlogging videos, tutorials, I don't know, but hopefully a lot of this information is at least somewhat general and hopefully can help you out. And yeah, if you want me to say anything else, then feel free to comment and let me know. And yeah, I have under 100 subscribers. I'm still learning this stuff. I'm still finding new stuff out, like my previous videos, just even analysing them, learning from them. Yeah, it's just a thing that keeps going, and it might seem like my insights perhaps might not have a lot of value, but I feel very confident that a lot of what I've said will be very helpful to a lot of you. Hopefully you can take what I've said and hopefully it'll help you out. And yeah, I feel like sometimes you have a pressure to try and make a video a certain way and try and make it perfect. But yeah, I feel like sometimes just trying to get it to a decent level and just trying to improve over time, it might seem quite tough, but yeah, it can just be quite nice to try and keep going and try and just keep on doing the process. And maybe it doesn't turn out as you want, but I feel like to an extent it may never. So yeah, it's just nice to keep going, try your best, and hopefully it'll go well. Maybe in a year's time I'll make another video somewhat like this, because I feel like a year is kind of like a nice thing. The seasons, a bit of a cycle, and yeah, just a fairly decent time to reflect. And yeah, if you want me to make any tutorials on some things that I've talked about or develop them further, feel free to ask. And yeah, I feel like just in general, it's just a bit of a tricky thing starting YouTube, where to start, what to know. And yeah, I think it's just really nice to help. Hope this does help. And if you want to comment anything, feel free to do that. And yeah, hopefully that's it. I feel like with it being a lot bigger, it's a lot harder to kind of keep track and do it all. But yeah, hopefully it's gone okay. Hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and farewell.